Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we were diving deep into a topic that combines centuries of tradition with modern-day relevance, the role of the King of the United Kingdom. Now, you might think you know all about the British monarchy from movies and TV shows, crowns, castles, and a whole lot of waving. But the reality is far more complex and fascinating. What does the monarch actually do? How much power do they really have? And how has this ancient institution adapted to the 21st century? Stick around, because we're about to unpack the history, duties, and enduring legacy of one of the world's most famous roles. To truly understand the modern monarch, we have to travel back in time, way back. The origins of the British monarchy can be traced over 1,000 years to the Anglo-Saxon kings who ruled different parts of what we now call England. Think of figures like Alfred the Great, who fought off Viking invasions. The monarchy wasn't always a single, unified thing. Was a patchwork of kingdoms that eventually consolidated. The pivotal moment came in 1066 with the Norman conquest. When William the Conqueror seized the throne, he established a new dynasty and a more centralized system of rule. This was a turning point. Over the next few centuries, the power of the monarch was absolute. Kings and queens made laws, declared wars, and held the power of life and death over their subjects. This was the era of divine right, the belief that the monarch's authority came directly from God, and to challenge the king was to challenge God himself.
Ow.
But, as you can imagine, absolute power didn't sit well with everyone forever. The relationship between the monarch and the people, particularly the powerful nobles, was often a rocky one. The most famous early example of this power struggle is the Magna Carta in 1215. Frustrated with King John, his heavy taxes and arbitrary rule, a group of barons forced him to sign a document that, for the first time, placed limits on the king's power and established that everyone, even the monarch, was subject to the law. This was a revolutionary idea, and it laid the groundwork for constitutional monarchy. The journey from absolute ruler to constitutional figurehead was a long and often bloody one. It involved civil wars, most notably the English Civil War in the 17th century, which saw King Charles I executed and the monarchy briefly abolished. When the monarchy was restored, it was with a clear understanding the monarch would now have to rule in partnership with Parliament. The Glorious Revolution of 1688 and the subsequent Bill of Rights firmly established parliamentary sovereignty, meaning Parliament, not the monarch, was the supreme legal authority. So fast forward to today. What does all this history mean for the current king? The King of the United Kingdom is a constitutional monarch. This means that while they are the head of state, their powers are largely symbolic and ceremonial. The actual day-to-day running of the country is handled by the elected government, led by the Prime Minister. The king reigns, but does not rule. But don't mistake a symbolic role for an unimportant one. The monarch performs a huge number of constitutional and ceremonial duties that are vital to the fabric of the nation. For example, the king officially opens each new session of Parliament in a grand ceremony known as the State Opening of Parliament. He reads the king's speech, which is actually written by the government, outlining their legislative agenda for the coming year. Also has to give royal assent to every bill passed by Parliament before it can become law. While in theory the monarch could refuse to give assent by convention, this power hasn't been used in over 300 years. To do so would trigger a major constitutional crisis. One of the monarch's most significant roles is appointing the Prime Minister. After a general election, the king invites the leader of the party that can command a majority in the House of Commons to form a government. This is usually a straightforward process, but it's a crucial constitutional function. The king also holds a weekly private audience with the Prime Minister. These meetings are completely confidential. No one else is present and no records are kept. It's a chance for the Prime Minister to brief the monarch on government matters and for the monarch to offer advice and perspective. As the 19th century constitutional expert Walter Bagehot famously put it, the monarch has three key rights: the right to be consulted, the right to encourage, and the right to warn. The value of this lies in the monarch's unique position. While prime ministers come and go, the monarch is there for life. It's providing a thread of continuity and a wealth of accumulated experience. Beyond these core constitutional duties, the monarch is also the head of the armed forces. All military personnel swear an oath of allegiance to the sovereign. The king is the fount of honor, which means all honors, like knighthoods and other awards, are given in his name. And of course, the king plays a huge role on the world stage. As head of state, he undertakes state visits abroad and hosts foreign leaders. Acting as the UK's ultimate diplomat and a powerful symbol of the nation, this soft power is incredibly important for international relations, trade, and cultural exchange. The monarch's image is everywhere, on currency, stamps, and official documents, constantly reinforcing a sense of national identity and stability. Then there's the role that the public sees most often, the ceremonial and community work. The king is the patron of hundreds of charities and organizations, from military regiments to children's hospitals. Through their patronage, the royal family brings attention to important causes, supports community initiatives, and celebrates the achievements of people from all walks of life. You'll see them attending countless events, from opening new buildings to visiting disaster sites, to attending national celebrations like Trooping the Color. This work is all about unity. The monarch is meant to be a figurehead for the entire nation, someone who can represent everyone regardless of their political beliefs. In a world that's often divided, the monarchy aims to be a unifying force, embodying continuity, tradition, and national pride. It's a job that requires immense dedication and a lifetime of public service. It's impossible to talk about the monarchy without acknowledging the debates surrounding it. The institution is not without its critics. Arguments against the monarchy often center on the principles of democracy and equality. Why, in a modern democracy, should our head of state be determined by birthright rather than by election? Critics also point to the cost of the monarchy, funded by the taxpayer through the sovereign grant, and question whether that money could be better spent elsewhere. The debate about the relevance and cost of the monarchy is a long-standing one in Britain, and public opinion often ebbs and flows depending on current events and the popularity of individual royals. Supporters of the monarchy, on the other hand, argue that it provides stability and continuity that an elected president might not. They highlight the monarch's role as a non-political, unifying figure and the immense value of the royal family in terms of tourism and brand Britain. They argue that the sovereign grant is a small price to pay for the benefits the institution brings. Looking to the future, the British monarchy faces the ongoing challenge of adapting to a rapidly changing world. Each new generation of royals has had to navigate the evolving relationship between the crown and the public. In the age of social media and a 24/7 news cycle, the scrutiny on the royal family is more intense than ever. The monarchy must constantly work to prove its relevance and value to new generations who may not feel the same automatic deference as their parents or grandparents did. The current king has spoken of a desire for a slimmed-down monarchy, perhaps one that is more focused, efficient, and in tune with modern sensibilities. The challenge will be to modernize without losing the tradition and mystique that are so central to the institution's appeal. It's a delicate balancing act, and one that will define the future of the crown. So, from an all-powerful ruler to a constitutional symbol, the role of the British monarch has undergone a truly remarkable transformation. Today's king is a product of over 1,000 years of history, a figure who embodies the continuity of the nation while performing vital constitutional, diplomatic, and community-focused duties. It's a role that's part history, part ceremony, and part public service. While the debate about its future will surely continue, there's no denying the enduring fascination and significance of the British crown. What are your thoughts on the role of the modern monarchy? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into history and tradition, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. We'll see you in the next one.